Hello, my friend. Welcome to another video. If this is our first time meeting, hello. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're returning, thanks for coming back, baby. Okay, so today we're watching another episode of Arthur. If you have not watched any previous episodes that I have filmed, you can watch them here or in the description below. There's a few now. Today's pick I thought was appropriate because I have a baby shower that I'm going to in a couple of days. So I wanted to watch the episode where Kate, Arthur, and DW's baby sister come home. So we're going to be watching two episodes. One is called Arthur's Baby and the second is called DW's Baby. What I love about these episodes is that we are getting two different perspectives. Sorry, give me a second. So let's just get into the episode. So as we know, in the first few minutes of an episode, Arthur breaks the fourth wall. So the family's sitting around the table celebrating Kate's first birthday. Arthur goes into this little bit about how, it's Kate's first birthday. And you know what? We were all babies at one point. We go into this imaginary scene where Buster is a baby, Arthur's best friend, and he's like in the grocery store with his mom eating everything because it's Buster / all of us. And then he's like, even Mr. Ratburn. And then Mr. Ratburn is like doing equations on the wall. And his mom's like, what the hell are you doing, boy? You better stop it. Stop it. And then we also go into, how our parents were also babies at one point, and then we cut to Arthur's parents as babies in an imaginary world. And the mom's like, go to your room. And then we come back to the original scene of breaking the fourth wall. Arthur says, you know what? I miss the days when Kate was like younger than 1-year-old. DW cuts in. She says, bitch, what are you talking about? You were not happy. Like, I was there the whole time. Title sequence comes in. All of a sudden, Arthur and DW are eating grapes. They're devouring grapes. I don't know why they're eating so quickly, racing to see which one of them can eat the most grapes. Like, I really don't know why this is a thing. I think they just needed some they're like, let's just roll some footage from when Arthur and DW are eating grapes. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I'm trying to say. So then there's one more grape left, and then DW ends up getting it very smoothly, very swiftly. Arthur then says something like, you know what, I wish all little sisters would be banished from the earth. Foreshadowing. Their parents both walk in and they're like, y'all, we have an announcement to make, we have a little surprise for you. Arthur and DW are like, oh my god, am I getting, what do they say? Arthur's like, am I getting a new bike? DW says, is Arthur moving out? No, the surprise is that I knocked your mama up. Stop. I'm gonna stop you right there, Tiffany. The surprise is that we're gonna be having a baby. DW, ecstatic, so excited, singing, yelling, celebrating. Arthur is like, a baby. Mom says, it's gonna be 6 months. So that's, oh God, math, 3 months? So she's 3 months pregnant. So it's the time when you start announcing, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Random scene to Arthur in school, and he's in wrestling class, I don't know, with Binky Barnes, who's an asshole. It's weird because sometimes he is an asshole and is a bully, and then other times he's not. I think honestly after the Nightlight episode, maybe that made him become a little bit more tolerable. But he's babies never stop crying. And then we get to this scene where Arthur's having dinner with his family, and then the baby's crying incessantly, and Arthur's like, pass the salt, and then the other person's like, what? And that's the scene. That's it. We cut to another scene where they're now at the pool, and Muffy is doing a flip off of the high diving board. Speaking of high diving boards, there was one time that I did a belly flop accidentally, thinking that I could dive off of the high diving board. That hurt so bad and it was so embarrassing. I was 10 years old. I made it to level 4 swimming lessons. I do not know how to dive. And she's like, babies have stinky diapers. We cut to another imaginary scene. No, I think this is legit. And Buster is putting a boot over Arthur's mouth and nose, taping it around. He's like, great, now like you won't be able to smell dirty diapers. And then Arthur's like, I can't smell anything. And Buster's like, exactly. And Arthur's like, I cannot breathe, bitch. And then the boot comes off. This episode is very like lots of random scenes when we could just really like not have all of these random scenes. Buster and Arthur are still hanging out. Arthur's kind of just like venting to Buster. They're talking shit. Okay, they talking shit. And Arthur says, like, what is the point of babies? They don't even do anything. Me. And then Buster says, maybe you could like train the baby to do things. So like make money for you, for example. Cut to an imaginary scene where Arthur's like presenting the baby and it's like juggling and then he's getting money in a hat. This is a symbol / metaphor for children in television being exploited. And then Buster says, you know, you could get the baby to do your homework too. Cut to an imaginary scene where it's literally like baby Arthur and he's doing Arthur's homework for him. And Arthur says like, when you're done with that, make sure you finish my report on Magellan. Another random scene. So Francine is now in the picture and they're in the treehouse, the trusted, beloved treehouse, one of the third places. I can't wait to get to an episode where they're at the sugar bowl. They're like inside the sugar bowl. And Francine's like, you know, like babies, like you're gonna start talking baby talk. And then we cut to an imaginary scene. Take a shot every time I say cut to. Don't. Where Arthur is playing football and then Binky tackles him. They ask if Arthur's okay. And then Arthur says, I have a ouchie boo-boo. And then everybody, which I'm going to start saying from now on, and everyone starts laughing at him. So then we get to, I can only assume is later that night. And Arthur is tossing and turning. He's having a nightmare. His mom walks in. She's like pregnant as hell now. So this is like 6 months later. LOL JK. She walks in and she's like, Arthur, sweetie, like you're tossing and turning. Like, are you having a nightmare? And he's like, yeah, I guess so. Like, I can't stop thinking about the baby. And she's like, I guess you're just as excited as I am. And he's like, yeah. So Arthur, I'm pretty sure Arthur is with Buster again. And Arthur's like, you know what, bitch? Like, I think I'm ready for this baby. I believe triplets are like in a stroller being pushed. Buster's like, what if your mom has more than one? And then Arthur spirals about what if his mom has more than one. So DW takes on this like nurse persona. And she's just like, sorry, do you remember those like baby Annabelles and just like how we were conditioned? Sorry, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. So DW is putting on diapers on her stuffed animals. And then Arthur notices that there's a diaper on his bionic bunny. He's like, get that fucking diaper off of my bionic bunny. Arthur and DW's mom is sitting on the couch and she's like, stop playing with the goddamn diapers. Come sit on the couch. I want to show you something. She starts playing this home video where she's like, you know, like, Arthur, you were once the baby too. And then it's like Arthur as a baby and he's acting all cute. And Arthur's like, I'm kind of cute. And then there's DW and DW's like, is that me? And then it's just like multiple scenes of DW crying. It's like really funny. One or both of the children approach the parents' bedroom and they see their mom packing up a suitcase. And child says, what's going on? And mom says, I gotta prepare to go to the hospital at any time. I could bust open at any time. You never know. You must pack your toothpaste. Another day comes. DW and Arthur are racing down the stairs. They walk into the kitchen, and who is it? None other than their grandma, Thora. So Arthur and DW are like, what is happening? What is happening? Grandma Thora's like, oh, okay, like you didn't hear. So what happened was your mom and dad are at the hospital and you have a baby sister. DW, again, is just like so happy. A sister. Once again, Arthur, hates women, and he says, oh, me, you know. Arthur and DW are at the hospital with their dad, and they're looking through the place where there's the window and there's like a bunch of babies. That's where they are. They're like, which one's Kate? The dad points her out. So then finally they're able to bring Kate home, and it's a very exciting, precious time. That's all I wrote was Kate comes home. They're sitting on the couch. Their mom says, Arthur, can you hold the baby? Arthur holds the baby starts crying. And then DW's like, let me hold her. And then she stops crying. DW's like, see, she doesn't cry when I hold her. Arthur's basically just trying to get Kate to like him. And so it would be like the middle of the night, and he is like sneaking in, and he says, you know, hi, Kate. I'm your older brother. And Kate's like, get the fuck out of here. Who the hell are you? Arthur just comes to the realization that Kate hates him. And then I think his friends are like, Kate, she doesn't hate you. She's a baby. So then we get to another scene where they're at home. This is a pretty iconic scene, actually. Mom comes in and she says, Arthur, can you hold the baby for a second? I'm going to go upstairs. Not hold the baby, watch the baby. Pretty sure she's in her, like, I was going to call it a holder. Carriage? No. Carriage? No. Basket? No. Anyway, she's like sitting with help. So it's like going well for the first 5 seconds, and then her pacifier pops out, lands on the floor. Arthur's about to pick it up. DW says, drop that. It has to be sterilized. She uses those words exactly. She goes to sterilize the pacifier, but then everything falls down. She's like, I have everything under control. Me. At the same time all of this is happening, Buster and Francine ring the doorbell. DW's like, I got it. Like, I have everything under control. Buster and Francine are like, can Arthur hang out? And then DW is like, no, he can't. He's watching the baby. Do you want to come see my baby? And they're like, cool. And they walk in. Kate is just losing her mind. At one point, they try to put the pacifier back in her mouth, and she's like, I don't want that. DW's like, okay, be right back. Like, I know what to do. Like, I'm going to go get a diaper. DW runs off, and then Arthur picks up Kate, and he says, I don't know what she wants. And then he like starts to pat her back, and then she burps. Basically, all is well. Arthur realizes that Kate loves him. Because when you can burp a bitch loves you. Okay. And now, back to Arthur. So the next episode is called DW's Baby. So again, as I was saying before, this is now DW's perspective on the whole thing. So there's this scene, they like kind of break the fourth wall, but not really. So Arthur, he says, this is a video of me when I was 1 year old before I had glasses. Arthur goes into like, and this is you, DW, when you were 1 year old. And then I think he says like, we're going to celebrate Kate's birthday, which kind of makes sense into the whole episode because we started off with Kate's first birthday. We realize DW is filming. And then I think Arthur makes a statement of like, you know what, I remember you when Kate came home. And then we get to the title sequence. So the episode starts already where we've in the middle of the last episode where Kate comes home. And so they get this monitor. They're like, okay, we're just gonna like set it down now. And then we walk away. And DW says, that's it. And then we just like get to like a different scene where still DW wants to interact with Kate, but Kate is sleeping. Mom's like, leave her alone. She's sleeping. Then they're all watching TV. And DW is like listening to the monitor, and she's like, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Me when I'm teaching yoga. And then we get to the dad giving Kate a bath in the sink, and DW says, I can give her a bath. And then the dad says, no. So then Nadine pops into the scene, DW's imaginary friend. I just want Nadine's energy. I just want to be like,
hi, like, I'm Nadine, and I'm Nadine. I have like white hair, and I'm like just like gorgeous.
So DW's talking to Nadine about how the parents don't want DW's help. Nadine's like, yeah, bitch, like, you know, they're slow learners. So then we get back into the scene of Kate having a meltdown. Are you following? Nadine says, this is your chance, which reminds me of like Ratatouille, Chef Gusteau saying to Remy, like, this is your chance.
This is your chance.
And so then the scene escalates, right? So then Nadine's here now. Nadine's like, maybe go get your mom now. DW's like, no, because then she won't like trust that I have the ability to take care of Kate. Again, the scene escalates and Nadine's like, go get your mom. And then DW still is like, no. And then goes and gets diapers. And then the mom walks in again and says like, everything okay over here? And then by this time, like, Arthur has burped the baby and DW is back and she's like angry because she didn't get to prove to her parents that she knows how to take care of a baby. So then Nadine and DW are on the swings because they're rich and they have swings. And DW is just like upset, you know, about the whole situation. And then Nadine's like, burps are mysterious things. Yes, bitch. So then we get to another scene where we find out that Kate is actually going to be sleeping in DW's bedroom. And DW is like super excited because, you know, she's like that much closer to Kate, which is like lovely. So we get to night number 1 of 3, where Kate is crying throughout the night and DW is having a bit of a hard time with that adjustment. Obviously, we cut to the next day. The mom is changing the stinky diapers and DW like opens the window and is just like, oh my God, it smells like shit. Mom says, can you close that? Like the baby's gonna catch a draft. She's naked. Sleep 2 of 3. DW has the blanket around her head and is again having a hard time falling asleep with the incessant crying. The next day, DW is playing with her toys and she offers Kate to play with her toys while she's in her crib. And mom comes in. She's like, you cannot be playing with Kate with those little ass toys. You're gonna choke. Look at the wheels. Like we have to clean everything. The final night, it's Kate crying and like echoing crying and zooming in on DW's bloodshot eyes. It's so funny. Next morning, DW is just like staring into her cereal and mom says, DW, eat your cereal. And she says, I can't, my teeth are tired, because she's exhausted. We're now in a scene with the Tibble twins. They're a horrible influence. Honestly, they're just like terrible. The Tibble twins are Tommy and Timmy Tibble. So they're talking about ways to get rid of Kate because Kate is driving DW up the wall. The Tibble twins are convincing DW to, you know, make Kate do bad things or whatever. And DW is confused. She's like, I don't know how, like, Kate's gonna do bad things. She's a baby. And then the twins say, what you need to do is, like, something bad happens, say that Kate did it. Another scene, Kate, DW, and mom are walking past a demolition. Something like explodes in the distance. And DW says, Kate did it. And the mom's like, no, that was the demolition that did that. We cut to another scene where dad says, why are my like new shoes in the dishwasher? And then DW says, Kate did it. I saw her. And then the dad is like, bitch, you did not. Go to your room. We're going to discuss it when I get up there. And then Nadine comes in and she's like, he said discuss. That means he mad. And then DW says like, oh, I got to like make sure that I remember to take out the bologna, the bologna that's in the CD player, which is really funny because that reminds me of when allegedly I put a grilled cheese in the VCR player. So then they're having a garage sale and then DW gets this bright idea to sell Kate to the Tibble twins' grandmother for 50 cents. The grandma is like, doesn't even say anything. She's just like appalled and then goes and tells DW's mother. So DW is watching this monkey show. I honestly didn't like get all of this, but she's watching like some sort of a some sort of Animal Planet documentary. The David Attenborough narrator is like, and then the monkey decides that it's time to leave the family. And DW's like, I gotta go. Like, this is my time. And so she's packing up her shit in her barn house thing. And then she ends up just like saying goodbye. She ends up going to Arthur's and she's like, goodbye, Arthur. Like, I'm leaving to like an island. And then she goes to her mom, I guess, and is like, I'm leaving. And then she leaves. She walks down the street. She ends up walking to her Grandma Thora's place. And then Grandma Thora's like, oh my God, DW, like, what a surprise. And she's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna like go. I'm gonna leave to this island. And I just like wanted to come here and say goodbye. And then she starts crying. She's like, can you drive me there? And so Grandma Thora drives her to this island. So they're in the car and Grandma Thora's like people are gonna, like, I'm gonna miss you, DW. And DW is like, nah, you'll be fine. She's like, you know, what about your family? And they're like, they don't care about me. And then they get into a boat to go to the island. And then Grandma Thora's like, but what about Kate? Like, she's gonna grow up without a big sister. And then DW has this like huge revelation that she needs to go back to Kate to be her big sister. So then DW runs into the house. Everybody's like, we were so worried. And then DW goes straight to Kate and she's like, I promise I'm gonna be like the best big sister to you ever. And you stank. Yeah, I really have nothing to share of like what this reminds me of, because I am the baby, so I'd have to get my sister on, which she would say no. If you watched until the end, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'm so happy that we're able to watch Arthur together. Yes. I am still taking Arthur episode suggestions. I will be going back to the suggestions box. I think the next one that I want to do is AARDVARK. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.